How John Calvin, the religious reformer, helped shape capitalism. When people discuss the origins of modern capitalism, they often mention economists like Adam Smith or industrialists like Andrew Carnegie. But long before modern economics became a formal discipline, a religious reformer from the 16th century helped shape the moral and psychological foundation of capitalism. John Calvin. Calvin did not invent capitalism. He was not an economist, banker, or businessman. He was a theologian. Yet his teachings transformed how people thought about work, wealth, discipline, profit, and personal responsibility. These ideas became deeply connected to the development of capitalist societies, especially in Europe and later in America. To understand Calvin's influence, we need to look at religion, economics, and human behavior together. Who was John Calvin? John Calvin was born in 1509 in France during a period of major religious tension. Europe was dominated by the Catholic Church, which controlled much of religious and social life. Then came Martin Luther and the Protestant Reformation. Calvin became one of the most important second-generation Protestant reformers. His most famous work, Institutes of the Christian Religion, became one of the foundational texts of Protestant theology. He eventually settled in Geneva, where he built a disciplined Christian society based on strict moral codes, education, and religious governance. But what made Calvin historically unique was how his theology affected economics. The world before Calvin, medieval view of wealth. Before Calvin, medieval Christianity often viewed wealth with suspicion. Under the influence of thinkers like Thomas Aquinas, excessive profit was morally questionable. Charging interest, usury, was often condemned. Poverty was often seen as spiritually noble. Business was tolerated but not glorified. The ideal Christian life was often associated with monastic withdrawal, simplicity, and detachment from worldly gain. This created a cultural tension with commerce. Calvin helped change that. Calvin's radical shift, work as a divine calling. One of Calvin's most revolutionary ideas was the doctrine of calling, vocation. Before Protestantism, religious work was considered higher than ordinary labor. A priest, a merchant, a monk, a craftsman. Calvin challenged this hierarchy. He argued, every legitimate profession is a calling from God. That meant farming mattered, trading mattered, building mattered, managing money mattered. Work became sacred. This changed everything. A merchant was no longer spiritually inferior. Business became morally meaningful. This idea elevated productivity. People began treating labor as a moral duty. That is one pillar of capitalism. Predestination and psychological pressure. Calvin's theology emphasized predestination.